we had the family that we grew up in, and the culture as well. Especially when we grow up and when we try to do something, or let's say even in the exam, we go for an exam in the school and we get lesser marks than probably a certain percentage, and then we are typecasted as failure. And then what happens is it kind of like starts to take a lot of space in our mental head, and then brings us into this, I would say, the two-sided understanding of a particular result. Like less than 50% is failure, more than 50% could be a success. So the patterns from childhood, and not only in terms of the marks or the number sheet, also the way our teachers, our parents, or other people around us fed in the information in our brain. And especially this holds true for a lot of Indians, because we have grown up into a little bit of defensive attitude after the independence, and we wanted to make sure that we succeed analytically a lot more than probably the rest of the world. And that's why we see that now we are developing into building a little bit of more balance with the sports and other activities. But initially it was all about education and numbers and marks. So the fear of failure is a little bit more prevalent in Asian culture as compared to what we see in the Western culture. Perfectionism, obviously we are aware of that. When we are only focused on doing a particular task with all the parameters which are in place, or only to get a certain particular result, and we don't think that we deserve to get less than that, or it should waver in the result the way we are expecting it, then it's an attitude that stops us. Because speed is very important. Time in hand is very important. So when we bypass the most important factor, which is time, and rather just focus on perfectionism, we are afraid of the failures. Ego identification. Now, in this case, what happens is that more or less when we are afraid of other people's judgments, and we believe that we have to prove ourselves to be a successful person. And I hear it a lot from many people that I coach one-on-one. I wanted to prove it to my mother. I wanted to prove it to my wife. I wanted to prove it to myself. I want to show up as a hero. These things are sometimes the reasons why we get too much stressed, and we get, embroiled in the story that we're creating in our head around failing. And that's why many people I have coached who have tried one thing and they didn't get the results, they did not put in the extra effort to make sure that they get the results, but in fact, they changed their industries, they changed their jobs, or they changed from one business to another business to another. And last one is lack of self-worth or self-confidence. This is where our focus is a lot outside rather than inside, where we are subjecting to the social conditions and the norms, and we do not really understand why we are here on this planet and what we are really expressing ourselves to be. It is more like lack of self-awareness of your own capability, your own impact, and your own contribution. And this happens when we somehow are not aware of our own values, our own strong, I would say, of our own strengths, and the possibilities of serving the world with our own unique talent. And I've spoken about this in detail in one of the other, I think, sessions, but we can always do another, proper big session on self-worth, because it's one of the most important topic when it comes to resilience. So these are some of the reasons why we are afraid of failure in our head. So Napoleon Hill said, "No man ever achieved worthwhile success who did not at one time or other find himself with at least one foot hanging well over the brink of failure." So obviously, if we are trying something new, if you want to go and do something remarkable in the world, if you want to step up our game, we have to face the failure to a certain extent, which, by the way, I would say in your head should be as clear as crystal now, that it is the results that vary, not that you have failed as a person. Now, how does the fear of failure hold you back from succeeding? Very simple things. Miss out on valuable opportunities because your mind is overthinking and chaotic and it's all over the place and it's in a fearful state. When you are in a fearful state, your emotions are releasing the chemicals in the body of adrenaline, of so much of cortisol, and then you're more stressed, and obviously then you lose your focus and creativity. There's an enhanced level of stress and anxiety. You're unable to step out of the comfort zone, because in order for you to step out of the comfort zone, you got to have that inner strength. You got to have that power of intuition and wisdom. And all those things can only be accessed when you truly and actually are present in the present moment awareness. When you're not present in the moment, then obviously your mind is all over the place. And when your mind is all over the place, you're stressed. And then we cannot achieve all of these four things, or when we're not able to get out of the comfort zone and, valuable opportunities, then our living is not as conscious and not as purposeful. And when we are not on purpose, then my friends, you know that we cannot impact as much as we'd like to. We cannot contribute and explode our potential as much as we'd like to. So these are some of the side effects of facing the fear, of experiencing the fear of failure. So how do we overcome that? How to overcome the fear of failure? That's what it is all about today. So first thing is that we need to remember is from where this fear is coming out. What is in me that I'm experiencing as fear? Here, the most important thing is to become more and more self-aware. If I'm experiencing an emotion which is subjected to fear, because a lot of times fear doesn't show up like fear, it shows up in the form of shame, guilt, embarrassment, lack of clarity. All these emotions, when we experience in our being, they are the symptoms of the fear of certain kind that is building up in your subconscious awareness. So knowing from where this fear is creeping in by becoming self-aware of your emotions. And as you have seen me talking about the subconscious mental conditioning, you by now probably understand that all that we exhibit out there in form of our personality, in form of our reactions, in form of our performance, in form of all that we have done or achieved or not achieved in our life is coming from the place of our mind. So when mind experience the emotions, they are coming from your thoughts. Your thoughts are coming from your beliefs, and your beliefs are coming from your subconscious mental code of conditioning. So first thing, becoming self-aware and noticing from what type of thoughts are these particular emotions coming to the surface. What are those thoughts telling me? This is the first thing that you have to go back to. Second is using the 4 R's approach to set your goals. Now, since we have done this session, I'm sure that you remember the 4 R's that we spoke of earlier were reliability, reliable, reasonable, respectful, and responsible. If you have forgotten about it, then please go back and watch the video. Maybe you have the replay where you can learn more about it. Now, this is related to your goals. And why I thought this is a very useful information to put in here is because we're setting our goals every day. Like, I am obsessed with it. I even bought a journal. It's called Goal Setting Journal. So, well, goals are important because they give the concrete information to the brain. But if the goals are not reliable, they're not reasonable, if they're not respectful, if they're not adding up the responsibility or the accountability, the chances of them actually getting fulfilled are very less. So why you consider yourself a failure at times with certain goals is because those goals are not even reliable. They're not even realistic goals. Realistic, it's not reliable, I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong word. It's realistic. If the goals are realistic and reasonable and respectful, and you're responsible for them, then what happens is that you have more power and control over the small actions and steps that you're taking every day. So making sure that you're not having goals which are just based on someone else's idea, which is based on people, what they are doing, based on what your friend told you. They're based on your life story, your journey, your experiences, your family condition, your circumstances, and make sure that they're realistic so that when you, let's say, even if the result is not X, but it is X minus 40, then at least you know that you might have to put in an additional 40% of the effort to get to the place where you want to go. Third is mindful presence of awareness of your thoughts. This is basics, right? I've covered it a little bit in the earlier segment as well. Now, mindful presence allows us to be in the moment and act upon those emotions which are basically making you feel stressed. The fear of stepping out of the comfort zone, the fear is coming from the resistance to change. Resistance to change because your brain is designed to protect you. Your brain is designed to be defensive. Uh, you know that we lived in the caves thousands of years ago, and the evolution of the brain has happened from that period. So the whole brain, the purpose of the brain was to protect people from dying and build in certain chemistry in the body. So when there is a threat approaching, people can take action. But right now, since we live in this civilized society, we don't have those physical threats, but we have mental threats, the threats that we build up as our own stories. And one of the major stories that people build is towards resistance to change, the excuses that we give to ourselves, the procrastination. And that's why when we know even that I am supposed to do these activities to get to the place where I want to go, I procrastinate and I'm afraid to take that step up. Why? Because your brain is designed for that. So part of your growth and evolution in this journey of life experiences to train your brain, to train your mind to become less and less defensive and more expansive. And this is our job every day. And how do we do that? We do that by becoming mindful, using certain practices of mindfulness as we do regularly here, feeding in the information in your brain, which is going to make it less defensive and more expansive. And no matter how afraid you are, when you analyze a situation that I know my worst case scenario, which is, by the way, the next point. What is my worst case scenario? I know my worst case scenario, or I know the big picture of this whole situation. All I need to do is to take a small step. Today, I got to take a very small step. I don't have to go about making this big change in my life, but with my mindful awareness, with my presence, with my conscious ability to take a small step, I am just going to do that. I'm just going to do that small step so that the overbearing emotional experience that comes with doing something big doesn't take away my power and doesn't induce the fear of failure. So mindfulness is very helpful. Fourth one is use the power of visualization and declaration. This one I've used with a lot of my clients, and I use it in my life on the daily basis pretty much. Because when I started my own business, before that I was working for a company, and obviously you are in this safer zone and suddenly you're out of this zone. Now there's nobody who's going to pay you the paychecks bi-weekly. All you got to do is whatever you're going to do is going to come from this source. I mean, the source is the universal energy, but you are the catalyst, you're the instrument. So how do we use this instrument in such a way that it serves the purpose of its abilities, but plus also gives us enough abundance and prosperity so we can take care of our lives and live in a physical harmony as well. So power of visualization really, really helped me. So every morning what I do is I basically write down, I know what my fears are, like you, I have my set of fears too, but they're not related to growth anymore. They're related to some of the emotional aspects of my life. But let's say if you have a certain fear, I would want you to visualize the opposite of that. So if you fear that I'm not going to be making enough money, let's say in this year, or I'm not going to be able to create more abundance in my life because of my limited resourcefulness, or whatever it is that you're experiencing as a challenge or sort of conditions for the failure, I would want you to write down all the opposite of that. So if your thought is limiting and negative, I would want you to write the opposite of that and then visualize that experience happening in the moment. Visualize the experience of that happening in the moment and give the declaration to the universe that I am going to get there, that I'm already there, in fact. So one of the visualization that I do every day is that I've written a book and I'm standing next to Deepak Chopra and he's unveiling my book and is signing it. And I am talking to like 5,000 people. Like this is a visualization that I do every day, and it's scary, but at the same time, it's exciting because it gives you the hope and something to look forward to, something big to look forward to. And I do this declaration every day. Now, why I'm giving you my personal example is because I know we have our own set of story and visions and fears around all that we are trying to achieve. So using a practice like this, which is very basic, very simple, takes 10 minutes your day, but embracing the now that is your future will help you, your brain basically, to get trained for the future. So it then starts to make your body like that. When your body becomes like that, then your efficiency improves, your productivity improves, your focus improves. So the future success that you want, when you make it happen in your mind, in the present, then your mind and body starts to shift. And that's very, very powerful. Okay, quickly, last, as I said, prepare for the worst case scenario. What maximum can happen? Rather than sticking with this situation where I'm just fearful and not taking the step further, what is the worst case scenario? And then just look at it. If the worst case scenario is this, what is going to be my plan B? You know, in this image, if you see the people are going in different directions. So the red one is my focus, but in case if I do not succeed in it, in case if something goes wrong circumstantially, what is my plan B? So that gives you the opportunity to fall back on something if your major plan doesn't work out, but at least you're taking the step forward. And the 6 is learn lessons from your mistakes and look for the evolution as your main purpose. Well, this is beautiful. And this is I would say, the most realistic thing to do anyways every day to overcome any sort of fear. Yes, a lot of people, when they start a business and it fails, or they have, gone for a particular interview, or in their office, they are finding this discomfort among other people, or if there's anything which is a conflict in your personal life or professional life, and which didn't serve you, which made you feel more embarrassed and hopeless and bad, or whatever it is that you experienced, learn a lesson from it. Do not distract yourself from it. Learn a lesson from it and understand that each and every failure is here for a purpose. Each and every failure is teaching us something powerful. Each and every failure has a reason. There is nothing in this universe which is happening as a coincidence. Everything is in the perfect order. The very reason that the earth is not getting hit by all these comets and these big massive giant balls in the universe is because there is the system. There is a system that is not a coincidence. Your position on this planet earth is not a coincidence. The family that you're born with, the people that are around you, the workplace that you work at, the people that you speak every day, it's not a coincidence. You are here for that. But all you gotta do is to expand yourself further, because all the learning lessons that you are getting from the experiences that you already had since childhood up till this point has served you, even if they were the worst mistakes of your life. So every failure is a teacher. By this attitude, when we go further and we try to just listen to our heart, being mindful, being present, and take the step anyways, just a small step, which can lead us to a little better place than where we are. That's all we need to do. So emotional fear is natural because that's how our brain is designed as to be. But our job is to move past by that. Our job is to overcome that old set of neural wiring and build in the new wiring of your brain and your mind and your body. Okay. So yeah, Samuel Smiles said, we learn wisdom from failure much more than success. We often discover what we will do by finding out what we will not do. All right, guys. I just posted a video on LinkedIn, which is about making a no to-do list. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, you're gonna like that video. Why to make a not to-do list, because it's also connected to the failures. Anyways, thank you for listening patiently. And I spoke a lot. I wanted to talk a lot more, but we had lesser time. So, any other questions?
Well, I have one.
Yes,
So
please.
when you said that there are no coincidences
Mm-hmm.
in this universe,
Mm-hmm.
so everything is already predestined. So does it also mean that whoever is born on this planet, their destinies have already been written?
Who's this? Who's asking this very heavyweight question?
You, Tripathi.
Okay, Tripathi ji, you always ask very difficult questions to me. Okay, I wish the answer was simpler. So here's the thing, we certainly, I mean, we all here, pretty much everybody who's here is coming from the background of Hinduism, and Hinduism um, is a culture. It's not very specifically a religion, but it's an ideology that focuses on reincarnation, that also focuses on the liberation. So liberation, like, in Christianity, they talk about heaven after death, but in Hinduism, we are more interested in liberation. We're interested in union. The yoga means the union of your being with the supreme being, right? So now it's commercialized just for the physical asanas, but that's not the whole point of yoga. Yoga means you're expanding the boundaries of your body and the mind, and having this union with the supreme intelligence. So supreme intelligence exists because if your body, from the baby, has grown up to this big body just by accumulation of the food, water, and air, then there is this force which is playing a very big role, right? So in this universe, you're placed here because you are that energy and intelligence. Now, that electricity could be in the bulb or could be in a chandelier. That electricity is one. Now, you want to be a chandelier or you want to be a bulb, that is up to you, which is also, of course, linked a little bit with your mind. The mind is kind of the conditioning, whether I want to act like a bulb or act like a chandelier. And this is the whole purpose of our life, is to remove the obstacles of the mind and purify our mind, so we stop litting with just like a bulb and expand our awareness and lit up like a chandelier. So your question is that, is the destiny pre-confirmed, or do I have a role to play? Yes. The purpose of your existence here on this planet in the physical body is to evolve your mind. So eventually, whenever you come into the existence, you are moving on to this journey of expansion and not contraction. So this is like getting in more into spirituality, because you ask a very spiritual, deep spiritual question. You actively play a role in purification of your mind, which no other species on this planet can do apart from human being, right? So rather than focusing on a particular destination, I think we should just focus on expansion. Did I live better today than yesterday? Am I more open and embracing today than yesterday? Am I more relaxed and happier than yesterday? If I'm going in that direction, then I'm going towards my better destiny. Very simple.
Thank you very much.
You're
I
very
have
welcome.
one, Simi.
Yes, of course, please.
Thank you. Shane here. So, if everything is predestined, then what is the concept of free will? Is this real or is it an illusion?
Well, the whole world is an illusion because the whole world basically is in your mind, isn't it? If you're looking at me right now, where is the experience? The experience of that is within you. The experience, Akshi cannot have your experience.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot have your experience. Your experience of world is in you. Okay. So basically in Vedanta, which is the supreme philosophy, or I would say the most intelligent scripture ever written, the Upanishads of India, of our ancient culture, basically, it talks about the non-dualism, which is like there's only one reality, and then we are just the waves in it. For example, there's one ocean and we are the tides in it, right? So there's one ocean, we are the tides in it, but we cannot say that I am not the ocean. So you can probably say that the world might not exist, but you can always say that I exist, that I is never going anywhere. You understand what I mean? So that I exist even if you die, that I was never born, and that I never goes anywhere. That's what our, even the Sikhism culture is, or, ik onkar, nobody can touch it. Even Krishna said it in Gita, right? So when we say the predestined, we're just talking about the destiny of the mind, not the real you. The real you is this ocean. The destiny of the waves can be that, oh, it's going to come for 10 fraction second and then it's going to die. But it's still the water. You get my point? So do not boggle your mind with the idea of the destiny as just like my day-to-day activity. Your day-to-day activity is in your control, isn't it?
Yes.
The day you decide that I want to wake up 5:30 in the morning and not 6:30, is anybody stopping you from that? No. When we think about the destiny, people think, oh, I want to, why my astrological chart says that I'm going to hit by or die by an accident. That's fine. Death and birth is normal. Things can happen anytime because it's the most natural law of life. But point is, did I do something in my lifetime consciously, which was in my control? Or did I just play it by saying that, oh, it's not in my destiny? Because you have the choice that you can make every day around all the things that you do, including all your reactions and your thoughts. And we have to remind ourselves that we have things in control. We have something in control. And this is all is going to help us in purification of the mind. To know more spiritually around this, there's a book that I want to offer and recommend. It's called I Am That. This book is called I Am That. It's by Nisargadatta Maharaj. It is a modern spiritual book, and all the questions that you're asking is going to be answered very, very deeply.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Perfect. Should we go for the meditation now? Are you ready for a couple of minutes of mindfulness before we wrap up today? Relax your mind. Take a deep breath from your nose and exhale through your mouth. Focus on the breath, getting in your nose and coming out of your mouth. Focus the sensations at your nostrils. The pressure of the air. The cool breath going in. Slowly and deeply exhaling through the nose this time. Bring your awareness to your body. Feel the surface touching your body. And feel the weight of your body on the surface that you're sitting on. Sink in a little deeper. Feel the points of your body touching on the chair. Feel grounded. One by one, with the sound of my voice, relax your body parts, starting from your feet. Relax your feet. Relax your legs. Relax your thighs. Relax your lower back. Relax your upper back. Relax your arms. Relax your hands. Relax your chest. Relax your abdomen. Relax your neck and shoulders. Relax the back of your head. Relax your cheeks. Relax your eyes. Relax your forehead. Relax your top of the head. Relax your body completely. Relax your body completely. Sink in your chair a little bit more. Feel your body getting heavier and heavier. The more your body relaxes, the more your mind relaxes. Let go of all the thoughts. Be in this moment completely relaxed. Remind yourself of this experience whenever you feel overthinking and come back to your true nature of peace and tranquility using mindfulness of the body and the breath. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your body. Gently open your eyes. Feeling good? Relaxed? Sometimes I'm thinking that I might fall asleep myself. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Thank you for today's session, Simi. It was a very short of a notice, but thank you for preparing the content, and it was great. It was really
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, we can always repeat things because, I was also in a little bit of mental rush, to be very honest. We could have added some more thoughts and stories, but we are together for a really long time, so we'll continue to do that. And I would love for Akshi to probably get back to me and tell me if we are looking to do a special session for just the mindfulness and meditation or the breath work. Maybe you want to take survey from them and ask them, because I would love to do that. I really want them to deeply relax, not only for 5 minutes, but maybe for 30 minutes. So, okay,
Sure.
so let me know.
Yes, Simi. I think we should plan it well in advance so that we can inform the employees as well, and accordingly we can put that in the calendar there.
Sounds good.
Do it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And any questions before we go?
Just a quick one here, Simi. So you are following a pattern, or you're following some curriculum to share with us, or it's something that you look at the previous session and then you come up with the new session?
Usually, there are topics because resilience is, I mean, life and emotions and mind is linked. There can be 500 topics. I mean, topics are not an issue here. So basically, with the type of conversations that we have to kind of mix it up with the corporation ideology and looking at the whole concept of your relationship with each other as well. So mixed of like stress release plus building the connection among each other plus opening your hearts up plus like being more vulnerable so that you can embrace who you really are and then also induce self-leadership. So I basically touch upon very wide canvas, so a wide canvas, and I can pick up from spirituality to very typical corporational training as well, but it really depends on what works for you. So that's why I think your feedback and all the group's feedback is really important in making it even more effective. So what is something that is required? So I use my own intelligence on the basis of the interactions that we have. But topics are not a problem. We can really take care of anything, any topic.
No,
Okay.
just for my understanding, I was asking because just to give you the background, although you already know a lot about IT by design now, but in terms of average age, our population is very young. So if you
Mhm.
would see, the average age is even lower than 25.
Okay.
So anything that can bring in a little bit more focus, because we know we are in such a world wherein people are distracted very easily, very, very easily, right? Today is the world when Instagram and everything is in rage, but possibly something else would come in tomorrow and people would move towards that.
Mhm.
So it's more of that how to bring in that focus and that purpose in life. Obviously, you talk a lot about finding purpose in life, but if we can coach, preach, and obviously with all your wise words and wisdom, if we can bring in a little bit more focus in our people so that they find their purpose in life, I think personally that's what I feel is a little bit would be better.
Yeah, I think we did a couple of workshops on that,
Yeah.
but I can always do one. In fact, I love it because it makes my job easier to kind of like do exactly what you want, and that's even better. And I never knew that the average age is 25. I thought at least maybe on the 30s, in the 30s and so. Um, yeah, so you can always share some more topics with Akshi or anybody else who feel that I want to hear a certain topic and this particular type of problem that I'm facing. And I am working with college in Australia. They have 3,000 students that I'm working with, and they are from the age group of 18 to 24. So I exactly know what to do with them because their life is different, their patterns are different. So that's why the coaching that I do with them is a little bit different than what we do here. So it's good that you told me. So please get back to Akshi and write down all the topics so Akshi can then share with me, and then we can always incorporate that. No problem.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank
Very
you.
much. Thank you so much, Akshi, for
Thank
your
you so
beautiful
much.
smile and beautiful face. Isn't she so pretty? I mean, she's so beautiful. All right. Take care. I'm telling you, this whole thing, like, all the beautiful boys also, they just want to see your face when you come on screen. So that's why you are the organizer. Am I right, guys?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Love you all. And I'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simi.